right, welcome, welcome. I see a bunch of people coming in, so I'll wait about a minute just so we get everybody in for now. We've got a pretty stacked webinar today, so we're going to try to keep time on track. Perfect. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. I see you all coming in. Glad you're here as well, Amber. Thank you. Hello, hello. And just for some housekeeping right up front, any questions that you have throughout the webinar, you can either hold them till the end or you can use the chat window. We do have Lucy joining us today from customer support, so she'll be answering any questions that you have. And then further along, if you have questions but the webinar has concluded, you can always reach out and send your questions over to help@tempstars.com. If you forget that, don't worry, it is in the bottom left corner of every single slide, so you will not forget it. And that being said, we're going to go ahead and kick off, everyone. And once again, hello, and thank you for joining me. My name's Shelby. If you don't know who I am, I'm the engagement specialist here at TempStars. And this session is called Your Roadmap to a Dental Career in Canada. And it's built specifically for internationally trained dental professionals. So if that's you, you're definitely in the right place. And we're going to walk you through everything from certification and your first job search all the way to your first shift here at TempStars. And we'll split it up into two sections, and I'll leave time for questions at the end, hopefully. So just bear with me. And like I said, questions, just put them in the chat, and Lucy will get to them as soon as she can. All right. So before we dive in, let me tell you just a little bit about who we are. So TempStars is North America's #1 dental staffing platform. We've got over 30,000 dental professionals on the platform and more than 10,000 dental offices hiring across North America. And I want to be very clear about this part, that it's completely free for you to use, for you to join as a dental professional. We make our money from the office side and never from you. So our whole goal today is to help you take your next step into the Canadian dental workforce with confidence. Okay, so let's talk about who this session is for, because there are really two starting points here. If you've completed your foundational training, you can start picking up shifts right away. So that's shown here on the left. So your TempStars profile will reflect that status, so offices know exactly where you're at. Then once you complete your national certification exam and get your full license, you just update your credentials with our support team and you'll unlock the full platform access. That's the right-hand side. So with the widest range of shifts and the highest earning potential. If you're sitting here right now, not totally sure which one applies to you, don't worry. Just again, email us at help@tempstars.com and we'll help you figure it out. And one quick note, the requirements do vary by province. So where it says HARP, for example, it's specific to Ontario for taking dental radiographs. So your own provincial association will set the exact rules for where you live. So just keep that in mind. So our agenda and what we're going to cover today. So part one, like I said, is all about landing your first dental job in Canada. The hiring process, certifications, licensing, and how to build Canadian experience. Part two is about building your career specifically with us here at TempStars. The financial flexibility, whether temping is the right path for you. And I'll actually walk you through what your first shift looks like. So hang on to your questions, like I said, or you can put them in the chat window for Lucy to handle. And let's get into it. Okay, so landing your first dental job in Canada. By the end of this section, my goal is that you walk away knowing exactly what stands between you and your first shift. Okay, so this is the general hiring journey that you can expect. It starts with submitting your CV or your resume through a job board, direct outreach, or a referral. Then your CV gets selected out of a big pile of applications, and you'll usually get a short intro call to confirm interest, and fit. And then from there, a lot of Canadian offices will invite you in for what's called like a working interview or a shadow shift. And that's essentially where you actually go to work alongside the team for a trial period so that they can see how you perform in real time. If that goes well, you'll typically go through like a probation period, usually around 3 months, and before the office extends a full-time permanent offer. So now that I want to make this just clear that this sequence holds across most provinces and offices. However, the exact steps and timing can vary. So don't panic if your experience and your journey through the hiring process does not look exactly like this. Okay, so certifications. It's an important slide, so I'm going to slow down a little bit here. So you'll see that 2 certifications are marked as required. So it's going to be your IPAC and your basic life support. I want to be very clear once again that these are mandatory to work as a dental assistant in any province in Canada. They are not optional CV boosters. IPAC is your infection prevention and control training, and it's typically free through the public health resources. Basic life support is your CPR and AED certification, usually valid for 3 years. Now, HARP certification is only required in Ontario, specifically for taking dental radiographs. So if you're not in Ontario, don't stress about that one unless your local requirements say otherwise. And the WMIS is required knowledge in any clinical setting. Practice software familiarity with things like Dentrix, ClearDent, and AbleDent, that's just a strong asset. So even at a basic level, but it's not mandatory like the first 2 are. Always double check, obviously, your current requirements with your own provincial regulatory body because these things can shift. And again, this recording, this is being recorded, so don't feel like you have to write everything down. You can refer back to this slide and this whole deck later on after we post it. Okay. So how do you actually get to the full certification? There are 4 steps. First, equivalency. You submit your documents for review. And good news, most internationally trained dentists already cover what's required. The second, the clinical practical exam, which covers your required clinical skills. The third is the written exam. It's a computer-based multiple choice exam taken at a Canadian test center. And fourth is a provincial registration. You submit your national certification and HARP where required, again, to your provincial association. And here's the best part I want you to really hear. As an internationally trained professional, you typically write the certification exam directly without having a repeat to a full diploma program. So that's really huge for a lot of people. It saves a lot of time and stress. Okay, so now let's talk about getting your CV or your resume seen. Here's a stat that surprises a lot of people, and it surprised me when I was personally on the ground hitting offices. 70% of applications never actually reach the person that's in charge of the hiring process. And I know that's really overwhelming. So relying on just one method isn't going to cut it. So use more than just one channel. So job boards. We personally, TempStars has our own job board and are most commonly where people start. Direct outreach means emailing the office directly, referencing the specific posting, and attaching a tailored cover letter. Walk-ins still work. However, some doors say no. But it often pays off. And of course, networking, talking to people that are already in the field, focus on genuine connections rather than directly asking for a job and being very upfront. And referrals tend to just follow naturally after that, after you start that networking process. So let's talk about your CV itself. So speak the hiring manager's language. Describe your experience in terms of the day-to-day tasks for the role that you're looking for, that you want, not just a list of clinical procedures that you have experience with. List the certifications that we just covered that are relevant to you, and note any familiarity with Canadian dental software, even at the most basic level. So keep it concise and results focused, and cut anything that the office doesn't actually need to know out of it. Now, networking works a little differently here. So building those genuine conversations, ask about the other person's work before you bring up your own job search, being memorable, helpful, curious, passionate. It really is what leads the referral down the line. And a lot of high-end offices actually fill roles through referrals before they ever post publicly. And honestly, attending a session just like this, that the one that we're doing today, in itself is a form of networking. So thank you for being here, and that really helps your career. All right, I know this one comes up a lot. Canadian experience required, right? It's one of the most common and most frustrating barriers that new arrivals face. So here are a few ways around it. First, ask about volunteering. When an office isn't hiring, ask if you can volunteer, shadow, or just observe. A lot of offices will say yes, and it's a real foot in the door. Secondly, let the team get to know you. Offices often lean on people who are already familiar to them when a role opens up. So just being present and helpful goes a long way. And then third, every bit counts. Observation time is real exposure to how the Canadian dental industry runs. It's a legitimate part of your journey and not just a waste of time. Okay. A few quick things on interviews specifically. Canadian communication style tends to be very direct and warm. Expect more small talk and soft phrasing than you might be used to. And trust me, patients and colleagues will notice and appreciate that you formed to this. Coachability matters a lot. Offices know that you're building a Canadian specific experience. So showing you're open to feedback matters more than pretending to know everything all at once. And it helps to know the terminology, common equipment, brand names, everyday jargon that's used in the Canadian offices, just so you can follow along comfortably on day one. Small, practical details like how outlets or equipment differ from what you're used to can matter just as much as clinical knowledge in your first few weeks. Okay, that was a lot, but we're going to shift gears. So we're going to go into part 2. So once you're certified and job ready, and we're going to go into what it looks like temping with TempStars specifically and how to accelerate your career with us. Okay, so let's start with money. It's completely free to join, like I said before. So there's no agency fees with us, and you keep 100% of what the offices pay you. As you build your reputation and your experience on our platform, your earning potential grows right along with it. You can also work multiple offices at once, which diversifies both not just your income, but also your professional references at the same time. And there's no lock-in. You set your own availability, you pick up your own shifts around whatever else is going on in your life with no contractual obligation and nothing committed to just one practice or one office. And that will lead me into the autonomy, the freedom and autonomy. So our shift search covers your local area and beyond. So as your radius expands, you get access to hundreds of offices. You can apply on your own schedule, book shifts days in advance, or even the morning of. You're fully in control of when and how you work. This also lets you try before you commit. You can work across pediatric, general, corporate, boutique, family-run practices before deciding where you actually want to land permanently. And then you can start, pause, and return freely. No long-term obligations. So if you need to step away for travel or study or family emergencies, you can always come back whenever you're ready. And one more thing, use the in-app chat. I know a lot of places don't have this, but we do, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. You can always reach out to an office before your first committed shift if you want to ask about the setup, the protocols, the software. This is especially important for those temps who have never stepped in foot to an office before. So this is a big one. Okay. For internationally trained professionals specifically, temping is honestly one of the fastest ways to build Canadian clinical contacts. Temping across 10 or more practices in your first year alone exposes you to the full spectrum of Canadian dentistry. Every dentist and office manager that you impress becomes a potential reference, building a network that a permanent new grad simply won't have yet. You also gain that real versatility with the software, Dentrix, ClearDent, AbleDent, And adaptable assistants are highly valued for that. And it helps you discover your ideal setting. Again, pediatric, geriatric, orthodontic, the high volume. You get to temp across any one of them to find your best fit. And I want to pause here for a second because I think this one really matters to a lot of people. You've spent years sacrificing your sleep, your social time, personal goals just to get to this moment where you are today. That's no small thing. Temping gives you a chance to reclaim some of your life back without sacrificing your career. It helps guard against burnout, letting you ease into your career at a substantial pace after one of the most demanding journeys in healthcare. It leaves room to pursue other goals, side projects, travel, language courses, family time. It eases your broader adjustment to Canada since flexible scheduling helps you navigate housing, appointments, building community if you've recently just arrived here. And you can return on your own terms. If you need a break for your health, for family, or to move, you can stop and come back whenever you're ready with no penalty, which is great. Okay, so think of temping as gaining experience before you settle into your permanent role. You get to evaluate culture, experience team dynamics, the pace, patient base, and if it's not the right fit for you, there's no harm done and no awkward conversation needed. You get to clarify your values, temp for 3 to 6 months, and you'll know exactly what your ideal permanent role actually looks like. And you avoid the wrong fit. Signing on permanently at the wrong office can really stall your career, and temping removes that risk entirely. Now, I want you to be honest with you. Temping isn't for everyone, and that's completely okay. Here is a fair look at both sides. It's great if you want flexibility and control of your schedule. If you want to explore the dental landscape before committing, build experience and references quickly, earn income without a long-term commitment, or if you want a bridge between licensing and a stable income. But you should think it through if you need that guaranteed hour, that stable income, the extended health benefits, the long-term patient relationships that a lot of dental professionals crave, a clear advancement structure within one practice, or a predictable day-to-day routine with a permanent permanent team. I'm sorry. And honestly, a lot of dental professionals will do both. So if you're on both sides of the spectrum here, don't worry, you can do both. Nobody's saying that you have to do one or the other. A part-time permanent role and occasional temping, there's not just one path to go here. Okay. So again, if what you're hearing is permanent work is really my goal, again, that's totally fine. And we've got you covered here too. Like I mentioned before, we do offer the job board, which is completely free, and it connects you directly to dental offices hiring across Canada. It'll include the permanent and contract roles for hygienists, assistants, admin roles, office managers, associate dentists, and it's, again, completely free to apply. TempStars never charges the hiring fees. It's a direct connection and there's no middleman. So your profile goes straight to the hiring office, and here's how it works. So you just complete your TempStars profile with your credentials, your experience, your location preferences. You browse all the shifts that are up for grabs, and then you apply to the listings filtered by your role or your location or the office type that you choose. And the office gets to review all your profile and reaches out to you. They literally just pay to view your contact details, and you never pay a cent. And my honest pro tip here is that, again, a lot of people do both. Temp while you're job searching. It really is the best of both worlds. And a lot of offices do the same too. They're trying to fill a permanent role, but in the meantime, they will offer temping shifts to get people in, and maybe they'll extend a permanent offer to you once you step foot in the door. So at the end of the day, there's really, again, no single path to a fulfilling dental career in Canada. Temping empowers you to build yours intentionally, one shift at a time. Try it. Work a few shifts before deciding if it's the right path for you, and then own it. Set your own availability, your own rate, your own career timeline, and then you build it. Every single shift adds to your network and your skills and your reputation. Working more shifts is only going to help you. Okay. Again, I know I covered a lot. This deck was probably twice as long as my normal presentation. So if you made it through to the end, thank you so much. I know I covered a lot, but we are genuinely excited to be here with you on your next chapter. I do want to open up the questions if we have some that have been popped up. But before I do so, I just wanted to bring attention to this slide I have. So the left QR code, if you scan that, that is going to bring you to my personal calendar to book some one-on-one time with me. We can go over anything you want, the TempStars app, or your profile. If you're not getting your offers accepted and you want to know why, I can offer some great insights, some great advice. If you just want to get on the phone and just talk personally one-on-one with somebody and not on the computer, book some time with me. So that's going to be the QR code on the left. And then on the right is going to be directly to download the app and register you if you haven't registered with TempStars yet. And then again, the bottom, oh, it's right there, customer support. If you have any questions after this webinar, then you can go ahead and submit to our team. It's help@tempstars.com. We have somebody on desk 7 days a week that are always able to answer your questions. All right, that being said, Lucy or Travia, if there's any questions that have come up that you would like to address, then please feel free.
Sure, there's one that just came in from Irene, and she's asking about why we don't require a resume. A resume we actually updated in our app to make it easier for people who haven't had one created. We don't request that you upload a resume anymore. You actually get to fill out your own bio, your work experience, and then the app creates a resume within the app. So when you're submitting an offer or you're using the job board, the very similar to LinkedIn. So if you've ever been on LinkedIn, you put in all your information and it populates it into a resume type document for you.
Great question.
Great add there, Travia, as well. She added that for admin, for people registering as an admin, we do require a resume, and the purpose for that is to ensure that you have dentistry as a background and you do have some dental experience when you're using the job board to apply for admin positions. That was it that came through the chat, Shelby.
Oh, that's great. I'll leave it open for a little bit longer. We've got a couple more minutes till the end. And but I'll leave it open if anybody thinks of any questions. I'm also going to keep this slide up if anybody needs it to download our app and get their TempStars registration in. That would be great. And then again, all of our webinars, I've hosted a bunch over the last 2 years, but they're all have been recorded and they will be found on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and type TempStars, and then our library there has got all of my previous webinars that I've done in the past. So. And if you have ideas for future webinar topics, I'm all ears. I create a new webinar with a new topic every single month. So anything you don't see in that library that you want more information on, let us know, and then I can see if I can build it out.
Hi, Anthony. I see your question come through there in regards to phone number for an office in regards to a location. If you have a shift booked with an office, I meant tricky. Yes, yes, I interpreted it as that. Um, if the shift is booked, it will be in the shift details. When you click on the shift, that information opens up a few hours before the shift arrival time so that you can communicate with the office directly. Most locations and most talent will communicate well before the shift date, right? So if you do a quick Google of the office name, you'll find their phone number, and that gets you better prepared when you go for that shift. Yes, great add there, Mallory. Thank you for adding that. So everyone who had joined the live today will automatically be entered into the draw for the gift card. So just keep an eye out, phone number and email when we send those out.
So I do see another question. As an internationally trained dentist with HARP and IPAC, can you begin to do temping as a level 1? You will, for a level 1, you will need your HARP, your IPAC, and your CPR BLS certification to register with us as a level 1. And in order to get, I see a lot of questions about your chances of getting your offer accepted. We do ask that you put as much information and experience on your profile. So because that is your resume, like Lucy mentioned, just keep applying to more than one job per day if you have the chance to do so. As well, just make sure all of your experience is listed, any volunteer information, anything that you can think of, so the offices can view your profile. And just because you get declined the first time, don't let it discourage you. Just try to submit as many offers as you can in one day. And then if someone accepts you, the others will decline as well.
Thank you, Mallory, for saying that. I was just going to pop in after Travia said that. If you want personally somebody to look over your profile to see where I can help get you accepted, or maybe why you're not, book some one-on-one time with me. We will go through each section of your profile together, and I can point out maybe some things that you can embellish on or some things you can add that would really improve your chances to getting your shift covered.
Yeah, so if you have any questions about your profile, book a time with Shelby or email us at help@tempstars.com, and we're willing to do everything we can.
Awesome questions, everyone. Thank you.
It's another one. What if the dental office say do not contact them? How do we prepare for the temp job the day before? We do have our in-app messenger in contact where you can reach out to the office before your shift. You can send them a message there if you don't feel comfortable calling. And if they do not respond in the app, you can always reach out to us at help@tempstars.com, and we will reach out to the office for you. But we do encourage you guys to try to call the office to get as much information as possible, because the shifts are facilitated between you guys. So
all right, we're just about at time. Again, I thank everyone for joining us today live. It's been great. And if you have questions moving forward, you can just again send them into help@tempstars.com. Book some time with me. You've got lots of resources at your fingertips that you can utilize to get you help. And again, stay tuned next month for our next upcoming webinar. We don't have a topic yet, but if you have ideas, send them in. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one, and I'll stay on just in case someone have any questions.
Bye, Trivia. Thank you for the lovely session.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.